Hello, dear students. The prelims examination result is out, and the pressure to study hard and perform even better has risen naturally very high. Today's video lecture is part of a series that intends to help you boost your score in the essay paper. In the today's lecture, we will be looking deep into the paper of an aspirant who is already selected and has a score, a rank of above 300. But the logical thing, or it is very logical to think that if a selected candidate can make these sort of mistakes, then most of the other students may also be committing similar mistakes. And as the video moves on, you will realize that these mistakes that I am highlighting in today's video lecture are in fact are likely to be much similar to the mistakes committed by you, and by acknowledging the mistakes you can rectify those mistakes and hope to increase your score in the essay paper. So let's start with today's agenda. The first thing that we are discussing here is the introduction. Now, we often say that the introduction needs to be catchy, it needs to be innovative, and it needs to be of such a nature that catches the imagination of the examiner. All right. But many times, what students do, they start with a quote or a story, an anecdote, or some similar thing just for the sake of it. For example, in this case, the student has written a quote. By the way, the topic that we are discussing today is biased media is a real threat to Indian democracy. That's the title of the essay. And the quote that the student has written is the quality of democracy and the quality of journalism are intertwined. Now, a very good quote in itself, but then there is a complete disconnect between the quote and the next paragraph. Just for example, after writing this quote, the student has moved on writing the role of media is in both the birth and continued existence of democracy is very prominent, and so on. So there is no connect either with the quote or with the keyword of the topic in question. So such an introduction, doing it just for the sake of it, won't serve the purpose. Rather than acting as a hook, it will act as an irritant for the examiner. That's one thing. Next, after seeing many copies, I have seen that students tend to write some sort of a trailer to their essay. Just for example, here the student has written, in the following essay, the following case will be made the importance of an unbiased media, the problems it creates, reasons for it, and the solutions for the problem. Now, what is the problem with writing such a trailer or such a prelude? By writing such a prelude, you tend to limit yourself. So, for example, when you are in the midway of your essay and a very good perspective strikes your mind. For example, a perspective that can be written is that an unbiased media, even an unbiased media, is not the panacea to all evils of the Indian democracy. Now, that's a very strong perspective, but you haven't mentioned it in your prelude. So you have very limited scope of accommodating it. So better avoid such a trailer so as to not limit yourself. Next, what has the student done next? He has given a heading about the importance of unbiased media for democracy. Okay, now this heading or this theme is very important, and this needs to be discussed under the topic biased media is a threat to Indian democracy. But logically, what should have come first? Definition of biased media must have been included before writing the impact or importance of unbiased media. Now, be it this topic or be it any other topic. The keywords need to be defined first, only then its impact, its importance can be discussed. So coming back to this topic, definition of a biased media. What exactly a biased media means must have been written first, then this very heading, importance of unbiased media for democracy, must have been written. So here both the flow and coherence get hampered in the very start of the essay. Okay, let's move ahead. Let's understand the proper format of a paragraph, that how a paragraph needs to be written in an essay. Just have a look here at the bottom of this page. I've mentioned argument, then I've mentioned substantiate, then I've mentioned inference. Now, what does this mean? This basically means whenever you are writing or starting a paragraph, you need to start it with an argument, not with some fact, not with some example. And when you are done giving a solid argument, you need to prove it. That is, you need to substantiate it with the help of some concrete example. And after you have given the example, you need to give the inference. Now, what do you mean by inference? In the inference, you tell to the examiner basically what have you conveyed in the paragraph, number one. Number two, you make a direct linkage of the paragraph with the topic in question. Let me explain it to you with example of this paragraph. The first paragraph on this page, it mentions about an unbiased media acts as a powerful check on the government. All right. So the student has given a long argument, but there is no substantiation. There is no example. Further, there is no inference. The paragraph has been left abruptly. So how could the student have substantiated this paragraph? So after writing this argument, the student could have given example of some sting operation, some independent story, citizen journalism, and so on. And after giving the example, the inference could have been that the student could have mentioned that thus an unbiased media reinforces the Indian democracy by checking governmental tyranny. So that could have given a logical conclusion to the entire paragraph. Moving ahead, the next comment that I have given is concrete substantiation is needed. Now, when we talk about substantiation, we don't expect the student to write generic sentences to prove a point. The point should be solid, it needs to be concrete. Take this example. The student has written, media can also play constructive role as a tool for building national unity and democratic ethos. Example, role of early moderate newspapers in freedom struggle. Now, this is a very general statement, role of early moderates. Now, you all have read about early moderates in your modern history books, and the student, or you can give good solid examples from Surendranath Banerjee to Gopal Krishna Gokhale and so on. So the point being raised is make your examples or your substantiation more concrete. All right. Moving to the next argument, the size of the paragraphs. Now the student over here has written 4 or 5 very short paragraphs, in fact 6 paragraphs on one single page. Now this argument also draws from the previous argument of having a standard format in the paragraph: argument, proof, then inference. So it is very logical to think that if the paragraph is too short, that it has only 1 or 2 lines, then the student can't accommodate a sound argument, then a sound example to prove the argument, then a sound inference to link the paragraph with the title of the essay. So you need to have paragraphs of standard length. It can be 7 sentences, 8 sentences, 9 sentences, whatever, depending on the topic. But it should not be too short or too long. All right, moving ahead. jumping from one argument to other. Now, moving abruptly into your essay from one para to other can be in two ways. Sometimes students tend to jump from one example to other example, and other way, students tend to jump from one argument to another argument. Just for example, a student has written over here that the biased media is also a threat to the culture of intellectual debate. Now that's one argument. Then again, the next paragraph says biased media prevents emergence of new ideas, thoughts necessary for keeping democracy vibrant. Second paragraph. Again, the third paragraph over here mentions that it also helps mask real issues. Now, these are different arguments without substantiation, without inference. So such abrupt movement from one paragraph to other definitely hampers the flow of your essay and also the coherence, because the arguments that are being made are not very interrelated and could have been very much clubbed into one paragraph. All right. So jumping abruptly from one paragraph to other by citing just arguments or examples have to be avoided. Moving ahead. Now I have mentioned that the student have maintained coherence here. Now what do I mean by that? The student has made a subheading of reasons for media bias. Now, if you remember, the student had earlier made a heading of impacts of a biased media. And now he is writing about reasons for media bias. Now, the title of the topic foremost expects you to write about the impacts of a biased media, and after that to write that why in the first place the media is biased. Now that maintains a logical flow and coherence in your essay. Now again, if you remember, I had mentioned that the student must have written about the definition of what a biased media constitutes. So the logical flow would have been definition of a biased media, impacts of a biased media, then reasons for media bias. So that would have been a very smooth transition. So that is what I mean by coherence being maintained. Next, we often hear people say that you need to maintain a connect or an organic connect between your paragraphs. Now, what exactly does it mean? What do you mean by maintaining an organic connect between the paragraphs? Let's take this example. The para over here states that the coercion of media either through direct means such as violence or indirect commercial means such as XYZ. So the paragraph basically is talking about how media is coerced. And in the second paragraph, the student is speaking of the ownership pattern of media. So coercion of media followed by ownership pattern, but abruptly written. So to connect the second paragraph with the first, I have given an example over here which says you could have started the second paragraph by writing, apart from coercion, ownership of media has an impact on the biasness of media. So this is how we connect the two paragraphs. Coercion, that is the keyword being used in the first paragraph, is being used, and the keyword being used in the other paragraph, ownership pattern. So that is also being used, and that is how we are taking a step towards linking the two paragraphs organically. I hope you are getting the point here. Organically linking the paragraphs by using the main argument or the main keywords being emphasized in both paragraphs, and that is what we call a connecting sentence. All right, let's move ahead. Giving subheadings in an improper format. For example, the student has given a subheading way forward. Now you need not give such subheadings as way forward or conclusion or similar subheadings, precisely because it would be tantamount to questioning the intellect of the examiner. Now the examiners are very senior person and very wise people, probably in their 50s and probably even in their 60s. Now it must be very self-explanatory, and they will automatically understand that you are concluding the essay or you are providing a futuristic vision at the end of your essay. So please avoid such kind of subheadings. All right, moving ahead. One paragraph, one argument. Now, on a lighter note, it sounds very much similar to the one nation, one tax jargon. Anyways, coming back to the point, one para, one argument. What does it connote? Taking example from this paragraph, formulation of fair coverage guidelines such as UK's guidelines to encourage unbiased and factual news coverage. Now the student had mentioned this very idea earlier in the essay itself, and here the idea is being repeated. So point number one, repetition has to be avoided. And point number two, if you are making an argument, if you are giving a fresh idea, make sure that argument or that idea gets a logical conclusion in that paragraph itself, and that idea does not replicate itself or is not repeated in other parts of the essay. So one argument gets concluded in one paragraph. That is the idea. Moving ahead. So at last, what does this range mean, 120 to 130? It connotes in this context that if you have decent content in your essay, for example, this very essay has very good content, but if you are not correcting the mistakes as highlighted in this paper, that you are not keeping organic connect, that you are keeping the essay incoherent, that you are writing introduction just for the sake of it, and so on, then you will just end up fetching average marks in the range of 120 to 130, or somewhere near that, not more than that. But if you intend to get an edge of 25 to 30 marks and get a score beyond 150 or 160, then you need to rectify these mistakes and make your essay more creative and more innovative. So these were the points that I wanted to highlight in today's video, and I will be coming up with similar videos to help you in the essay paper. Apart from that, you can also opt for the option of availing my mentorship for the essay paper. If you want to avail my mentorship for the essay paper, you can get all the related information in the first comment of the comment section. And apart from this, if you have any further doubts or suggestions, please do let us know in the comment section. So that was all for today. Do take very good care of yourselves. Jai Hind.
Subscribe to our YouTube channel and press the bell icon on the YouTube app and never miss another update from Civils Daily.